What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Another night, another live stream. Absolutely pumped to be hanging out with each and every one of y'all as we go forth and try to win a fantasy football championship. Like I said, it's been a good night. We're heading into the weekend. A lot of exciting stuff to come. And so I'm pumped, just pumped to hang out with all y'all. Let's get some of this music going and we will get after it. Shout out to Chief coming in here with the two. Right off the rip, just didn't even wait. We got to give a big DJ air horn for you, Chief. And I know you asked some questions, so Chief, we'll get to your questions here first. You said in a 6-team league, you got QB, 2 RBs, 2 wide receivers, tight end, 2 flex. Your starting lineups: Mahomes, Garendo, Derrick Henry, Mike Evans, Terry McLaurin, Bowers, Chuba Hubbard, Brian Robinson Jr. Who to bench for Zach Charbonnet? And you said thoughts on my lineup. I couldn't afford to bench Garendo and have Charbs not go Sunday night. I hate to leave Charbs on the bench. Help me put my mind at ease. Feels like I screwed up starting IG. Well, I'll say this, Chief. To anybody that's tuning in, I told multiple people to start Cooper Kupp, Isaac Garendo. I know there was a few people that were debating Deebo Samuel in some deeper leagues on their flex spot. Jawan Jennings wasn't great. Like, if you did not play Puka Nacua or Kyron Williams in last night's game, you're absolutely, like, pooping yourself today. Like I might be doing later since I ate some Taco Bell. But it's absolutely, like, atrocious with what has gone down on that Thursday night football game. So I understand, Chief, that you're feeling like you screwed up. Dude, I wouldn't be beating yourself up over it. But in regards to Zach Charbonnet versus Brian Robinson, that's kind of going to be the debate that we're going to have. Really, for me, Brian Robinson's falling in as a top 15 running back, but I do have Zach Charbonnet sliding in as a back-end RB1. So I would actually, for looking at your lineup, I would be cool to move Brian Robinson to the bench for good old Zach Charbonnet. And I do have Chuba Hubbard as a top 6 option this week here, Chief. So I wouldn't bench Chuba Hubbard there. So I hope that helps you. Thanks so much, Chief, for the super chat. Thanks for tuning in. I would replace Zach Charbonnet in your lineup with Brian Robinson Jr. Playmakers here in the building. He said, thanks for the lock advice. Got into the playoffs. Appreciate you, Playmakers. Thanks for tuning in last week. You said, who would you sit? Montgomery, James Cook, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Charbonnet. Thanks for the advice. Of course, bro. Thanks for tuning in. So we're looking at running backs, pulling up running back rankings. We're not sitting Zach Charbonnet, so we'll play Zach Charbonnet. Who's the next guy? Montgomery. We got a bunch of these guys kind of all in the same range. And then James Cook. I think you could argue. I think I'm going to sit James Cook here, as much as that it feels crazy to say. I understand he's the RB12 in fantasy points per game, but he's just not getting the touches that we need consistently. So give me Jonathan Taylor over James Cook. That's kind of the decision that I was making there, Playmakers. And I would go with Jonathan Taylor. Hope that helps you out, Playmakers. Maximo said, much love, Caleb. Would you flex McMillan or Pacheco this week? Appreciate you, Maximo. I think we got to go to the well with Isaiah Pacheco this week. We did like what we saw from McMillan, of course, last week. But I think the ramp up for him is starting to begin. He went from a 37 to a 46% snap share last week. I assume this week it's probably going to be somewhere around like a 55 to 56. So even in full PPR, I understand last week only putting up 8.1 points wasn't great, but I would rather go Isaiah Pacheco. I think we're probably looking somewhere in like the 10 to 12 point range is where he'll end up. But I'd much rather have that than, like we said, there's the high end upside of McMillan, but there's also a super low 4. So Max Miller, I would go with Pacheco. And if you guys haven't already, hit that like button. Helps me out so much. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in. We got 20 people in here, only 9 likes. Helps me out. Element, shout out to Element here in the stream. We got, we'll start playing some of Element's music. We said, hoping Josh Allen can bless me with another 50-point game. Last week I put up 210. Well, hey, I got a ton of Josh Allen shares, so I absolutely hope that's the case. You said I made a mistake of starting Garendo over Judy. Kyron and Kittle didn't go good either. Listen, I know I said in that Kyron didn't have, like, you're disappointed if you played anybody other than Kyron and Puka. I understand it wasn't the best Kyron game by any stretch, but still 13.2 in that matchup where we were seeing, like we said, saw guys like a Cooper Kupp put up a 0. got to be at least happy with the 13.2. Now, is that going to win you a playoff game? No. But it's better than the 0. And yeah, Garendo, goodness, give me a break. I was a lot higher on him. I probably should have been a little hesitant. I just thought he would get more work than what he actually did, more than the 57 yards. But it was just not a good game for anybody fantasy football wise other than Puka. So I'm with you there, Element. And you said I'm try and stay longer. You said I'm gonna try and stay longer. I've not been doing well recently. Sorry, Element. Sorry that you haven't been doing well recently. But hopefully we can start to make you feel better. And I don't know what you're going through, dude, but always here for you. R. Edis said I didn't miss it. Yo. R. Appreciate you being here. Justin said, yo, good to see you, Justin. You said, who should I start? Tyrone Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, or Tony Pollard? So, great question here. We got to continue to monitor Tony Pollard's injury right now because he's dealing with that ankle injury. I assume he probably plays through it. But like I said, there's still a chance that he's not going to. So, ideally, I would tell you to go with Tony Pollard this week. But we're still going to have to wait on that overall injury. So let's just assume for a second that Tony Pollard is not going to be able to go, then I would go with Ramondre Stevenson. But I much prefer to go with Tony Pollard there, Justin, if he's going to play. Johnny38, good to see you. So what's up, Caleb? Happy Friday. Happy Friday, Johnny38. You said need to start 2, DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir, Mike Evans, and Ramondre Stevenson. So we're going to be going with Mike Evans. He's going to be the clear number 1. Now the next question is going to be between Khalil Shakir and Ramondre Stevenson. I believe we're going to be going with I think we're going to go with Ramondre here, but it's close. I have them about 3 spots difference in my flex rankings. Major thing that's hard is Khalil Shakir's getting the targets. I mean, 9, 12, 7, 8 over the last, 4 games. Going up against Detroit, they're going to have to throw the ball. Josh Allen's been absolutely electric. You got Ramondre Stevenson this week going up against the Arizona Cardinals. He's pretty much since this bye, like historically, and right before the bye, he had a 78% snap share in week 13 versus Indy. So if he can keep that up for Ramondre, you like that in full PPR. But even though he had a 78% snap share, he only had 12.4 fantasy points. So it's close. I think at this moment, Johnny, I lean Ramondre, but if you were to put a gun to my head and say I am starting Khalil Shakir, I don't think I would look at you and tell you you're crazy because they're both so close for me. And shout out, yo, who accidentally hit the down arrow? Hey, I'm trying to answer everyone's start say questions, so don't put the dislike button. Sorry if you didn't like my advice. AK Shay said start 2 wide receiver, need it. Upside Cup got me 0. Yeah, dude, I'm so sorry. JSN, Metcalf, Neighbors, Waddle. Dude, I fell for the Cooper Cup in a few leagues too. So it's just mega unfortunate that Cooper Cup gave us a straight 0-pointer, a straight goose egg. But if we have to pick players here, I'll be going. How many do I get to pick? You said start 2. I need to start 2. Okay, so I would be going with JSN. And then, upside is going to be with Neighbors. But I think you could debate, Neighbors versus Waddle. I think that is a discussion to be had. I personally lean Neighbors, even with Tommy DeVito starting this week. But AK Shay, you be you on who you're looking to go there. I just think it's hard to rely on DK Metcalf too. So JSN's for sure in your starting lineup. I lean Neighbors or Waddle for that most upside, and I lean Neighbors at this point. RR Edis said start Waddle or JMO. This will be one where I do go with Jalen Waddle over JMO. Appreciate you, RR Edits. Appreciate you. Element said Brandon Aubrey or Boswell. Cowboys play Panthers. Stan. Yeah. So, Element, I don't know if you tuned in to the kicker rankings this week. I did put out a kicker rankings video. Y'all were asking for it. I said I will do it. It's not something I love to do, but I personally would go with Brandon Aubrey. The Cowboys have been playing better as an offense as a whole, so it gives you optimism that at least they can move the ball into the red zone. So that makes me lean the Brandon Aubrey side, even though Boswell's been absolute dynamite. But I do lean with Brandon Aubrey there. Element, go put your starting lineup in the thing. Chaka said, my team name is Cooper Cup. I have Cooper Cup. I started Cooper Cup. I hate Cooper Cup. Chaka, I am so sorry, dude. You're allowed to vent to me because I started Cooper Cup in a lot of spots too. And I was like, what the heck? Like, granted, I know he's looked old. I know it hasn't been the most conducive season for a guy like Cooper Cup, but coming into the games last night, I had him as a top 15 wide receiver. I mean, 3 targets, 0 receptions. It's just been a weird year. I mean, he had a little bit of a really good stretch. I understand Puka Nacua was a clear one, but it's like Matthew Stafford wouldn't even look Cooper Cup's way any of that game, Chaka. So I'm 100% with you there. And yeah, I'm 100% sorry for Chaka as well. Mr. Magic said, imagine if I had CMC still for week 16. I'm sitting on a bye without him. See, that's the other thing. Like, the injury to CMC for a lot of us who were, who had him as the 101, like you're scrambling. In our subscriber league, I had CMC, and like I'm so lucky that like I had some decent running backs depth, but yeah, it's rough. It's rough for those out there dealing with major injuries like that. Jesse said, what's up? Got a quick question for you. Tucker or Koo this week? Tucker coming off bye, might get some field goal work just to get his confidence back. What you think? Thanks. I mean, I think Tucker, he's just lost it, which is mega unfortunate. I much prefer the matchup this week, Jesse, with Koo versus Vegas. I think he'll get more opportunities for field goals, as well as extra points. So give me Koo this week over Justin Tucker. Andrea, good to see you. Element says, I hate CMC, got him over single player. Yeah, I had him as the 101, so it's super unfortunate. Kevin says, sup, my guy, Broncos or Eagles defense this week? This week, dude, I will personally be going with the Denver Broncos. I would say that Indy and the Pittsburgh offenses, they both have similar upsides that we know about. Like Steelers, they're really carried by their defense, so their offense just has to do enough to help them win the game. Whereas, the Colts, you're playing against Anthony Richardson, mini Cam Newton, week to week, what that's going to be. That could be a ton of turnovers. I personally went the Denver Broncos defense, but I do have them 2 spots apart in my rankings, Kevin. So personally, I would go with the Broncos, but it's super close. And I want you to know, Kevin, that I'm not the defensive guru. So even though I lean that way, man, the defensive scoring is always weird. Always weird, Kevin. But I would go with the Denver Broncos defense if I were you. Chaka said, would you play Ridley or Amari over Pollard/Spears if Pollard sits in the flex? No, I would probably play both of them. Whether it's a Spears show all by himself or if it's Pollard who's going to play. I would play both of them over Ridley and Spears. And not that I still have Calvin Ridley as my wide receiver 21 this week. And then Amari got a crap load of targets last week. So I understand it wasn't great. Like, I say great. It hasn't been a great season. Last week was the best we've seen on the Bills since he caught that touchdown in week 7. He got 14 targets. Yeah, that's insane. I mean, they could get him. If he gets 14 targets again, you're probably going to regret not playing Amari. But I probably, if I'm you, I'm leaning the Pollard or Spears train in this instant. Like I said, both of these are like wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3 territory for Calvin Ridley and Amari Cooper this week. So I lean with those running backs, Chaka. C said Javonte, Metcalf, or London in the flex for standard. Ooh. Hard question here. I think you got to go Drake London. And see, I understand Drake London. This Atlanta passing attack hasn't been ideal. But I do lean Drake London there, see? Brandon, good to see you. You said PPR start Coleman or Downs or pick up McMillan or Palmer if McConkey doesn't play. So let's go through where let me get back to this question. Sorry, Brandon. There we go. Sorry. So let's talk through Coleman versus Downs. I would not play Coleman this week with the way that Amari Cooper's been getting, a lot more targets. Josh Downs, I don't feel great about. I personally would lean Jalen McMillan this week. Not that we haven't seen really any type of double-digit fantasy points since week 1 for him, besides the last week where he put up 21.9. And then I don't trust Palmer. So honestly, I would go with McMillan over both Coleman and Downs, and that's who I would ride with this week, Brandon, if I were in your shoes. But they're all, like I said, they're all are very high upside plays, and just because I have McMillan like 7 spots higher, we're talking about McMillan sliding in right now as my wide receiver 55. So it's not super high. It's not super high. So all those other guys are a little bit lower. Element says, I forgot how the playoffs go. Anyways, I just know I have to win. Gotta need a miracle. Gonna need a miracle. Yeah, dude. Well, good luck. Good luck this week, Element. Edison, what's up? Good to see you. Good to see you. Andrew coming in here with Ladd McConkey, Garrett Wilson, Neighbors, Charbs. Need 1 wide receiver and a flex PPR. So you're going to be going with Charb and the flex PPR. So then we're looking at these wide receiver options, Andrea. And they're all just, not great. Because I like Garrett Wilson versus Jacksonville. Coming off a good game versus Miami. Think they'll get him a ton of targets. You got Ladd, you know, he's listed as questionable. I assume he was pretty close to playing last week. Or then you got Neighbors. I think so, Andrew, this is kind of going to be what you need. I feel like the highest upside play right now is Garrett Wilson. But I'm also a little bit worried about Garrett Wilson. So I do have Ladd 2 spots higher. But like I said, I am a little bit worried about that shoulder injury. So Sharp for sure. And then I would go with Ladd McConkey. That's going to be my final answer, Andrea, on who I'm going with. But if you want to sub out, if you prefer Garrett Wilson over Ladd, Andrea, and it's your team, you get to make the decision. You get to put the person in your lineup. Then I wouldn't debate you. But I would say for sure sit Neighbors. I would start Ladd or Garrett Wilson in that wide receiver spot. Eber, good to see you. You said Sincere McCormick or Javonte Williams full PPR. Eber, I will be going with McCormick there. Jesse said, with Neighbors questionable, is it crazy to think of maybe playing Adam Thielen instead of Tracy? No, I definitely have bumped down Tracy in my overall rankings. I think you're not crazy. I think you could play. I think I would actually probably play Adam Thielen over Tracy, knowing that they're going up against a super rough Baltimore defense, and if Neighbors is banged up just a little bit, and they're not going to be able to throw the ball a ton with Tommy DeVito. I mean, I think they're going to have to throw the ball a lot just to get in and stay in that game. But I personally would lean with Adam Thielen there. Greg, I want to sit AJ Brown so bad, but I have nothing to replace. Yeah, I feel you, man. But I'm starting AJ Brown in a lineup, so just do it with me, Greg. Do it with me. Stewie, good to see you. You said, can you recommend a different running back if I sit James Cook? I have Sincere McCormick on my bench. Is he a safe alternative? I mean, I have, just to give you, Stewie, like where I have these guys ranked, I do have James Cook sliding down to my RB21 this week. I have Sincere McCormick sliding in as my RB26. So, 5 spots. It's not, you know, I still prefer James Cook, but I understand why you might want to start Sincere McCormick. But the thing is, like, last week was the first week that he put up over double-digit fantasy points. And it was only 10.9 on a 61% snap share. So even if that goes up a little bit, like, I still feel like the ceiling is going to be with James Cook in this Detroit Lions matchup. But I understand it's a bad matchup for running backs. But I lean James Cook there, still there, Stewie. Appreciate you tuning in. Topher, appreciate you. You said, yo, should I stick with Otten or should I pick up Muth or, you know, we just heard this name. Calcaterra? How is that how you say it? Calcaterra? I always forget how he says it. Or even Jawan Johnson. Yeah. We're getting into dangerous territory where K. Otten has gotten pushed down my overall rankings. But I still think we're leaning with K. Otten. I think it's all touchdown dependent, Topher. Like, who's going to catch a touchdown? Since the Mike Evans return, it's absolutely demolished K. Otten. Honestly, like, he's averaging, I think, is it like a 14.8? No, maybe it's a 15. Something like a high 14, 15% target share, which isn't ideal. Granted, he just got over double-digit fantasy points in full PPR in week 14. It's kind of touchdown or bust for our guy at this point. And he hasn't had a touchdown since week 9. So I personally lean with K-Dotton. I'm starting K-Dotton in a league. So Topher, I'd recommend K-Dotton. That's not just because I'm starting him. I have him highest in my rankings, but it really is kind of just depending on who's going to score a touchdown there. Edison said, I need your opinion. Got Chase Brown and Jacobs, Addison and DK, and Charbs at flex. Who should I be my other flex? Pacheco, AJ, or Josh Downs? Yeah, you're going to have to put AJ, dude. Edison, I understand. It's kind of that battle that you're going to have to internally face of like, he's been struggling. He's going up against Pittsburgh, but he's still a top 10 wide receiver for me. So I understand it's bad, but it's not that bad. You got to start. I understand the advice start your studs is so dumb because you've been playing your studs or like everyone's like essentially a stud, but I'm going with AJ Brown here in your flex, Edison. Element said, no, I haven't been doing good of staying in here. I'm just, oh, I got you, Element. Oh, okay. I was worried you weren't doing well, but no. Yeah, dude, I gave you moderator status and I haven't been as good. I'm just kidding, Element. I absolutely appreciate you. Thanks for moderating the chat. Great Scott said, what's up? Already clinched the playoffs in both leagues, playing for placement now in both. Boom. Let's go. Great Scott, I'm kind of surprised that your plans aren't starting because that would probably leave week 18. That gets juicy. That's getting juicy. And you said all full PPR for below questions. Okay, cool. I'll acknowledge that. And I usually just assume that you guys are asking full PPR if you don't say, unless you say it's like half or standard or whatever. Andrea said, need one wide receiver, Flowers, Devontae Adams, London, and half PPR. I believe I'm going London, but I want to see. I forget where I have Devontae Adams. Yeah, I'm still going with London here as my wide receiver 1. There, Andrea. And then you said starting Broncos defense thoughts. Element, I still have them as a top 5 defense this week. So yeah, I'd be starting them too. Joe, what's up? What's up? Good to see you, dude. Dude, what's ever happening with LeBron? I know that's on your profile. We're a fantasy football channel, but goodness, stepping away from the team. It'll be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks. Oh, great, Scott. Sorry. You said start Njoku, Andrews, or Hawkinson at tight end. Well, it's looking... We kind of have to keep an eye on David Njoku. I personally would lead with TJ Hawkinson this week, though. Great, Scott. No need to fear. I have him as a top 5 tight end ranked this week. And then J-Rad said, Gus Edwards, Jalen Warren, Tank Bigsby, start one at flex. Pulled off the dub last week with your help. Thanks again, man. J-Rad, that's what I love to hear, man. I think you got to go back to the well with Tank Bigsby. But I think it's close between Tank Bigsby and Jalen Warren. So if you have a preference there, I mean, 9.2 last week, it wasn't the best for Jalen Warren. Tank Bigsby with 13. They're so close. They're so close. I have them 2 spots apart in my running back rankings. I do have Tank Bigsby ahead, J-Rad, but if you prefer Jalen Warren, then I would just go that way. But I would go with Tank Bigsby if I were you. Element said McLaurin, Judy, or Brian Thomas. I think we got to go with Terry McLaurin. Jerry Judy, we love what we saw 2 weeks ago. Last week it was a good, following up a 40-point performance with 17 versus Pittsburgh. That ain't too shabby. He's absolutely demolishing it. So, but I personally think with Terry McLaurin in the matchup. Appreciate you, Element. Isra, good to see you. You said Niners let me down big by starting Purdy, Jennings, Grendo. My apologies. I had a few leagues with the Jennings and Grendo, and that was brutal. Which 2 should I sit? Need the most upside? Tyreek, Garrett Wilson, McLaurin, Charbonnet, Pacheco. Well, you're not sitting Tyreek and McLaurin and Charbonnet. So I would sit Pacheco and Garrett Wilson for the most upside there. So I would start Tyreek, McLaurin, and Zach Charbonnet. Appreciate ya, Isra. Great Scott said, pick 2 wide receivers and 2 flex, please. Amon-Ra, Mike Evans, Ladd, Neighbors, Thielen, Devontae, DJ Moore, Hopkins. Thank you. That was nasty. Sorry. Let's clear this throat. I don't know if I'm getting sick, guys. It's not doing so hot right now. Throat's all messed up. It's okay. We're going to push through it. Great Scott. Appreciate you guys. Amon-Ra, for sure. Mike Evans, for sure. Ladd, for sure. And then I would lean with Neighbors as my fourth, but I think you could convince me on it's between Neighbors and Adam Thielen. So if you prefer to go with the high end of Adam Thielen over Neighbors, who's going up Tommy DeVito versus Baltimore Ravens, I understand all that. So I'd be cool to start Thielen over Neighbors, but it's close. But for sure, I'm gonna roll Mike Evans, Ladd, and then I would go with Neighbors if I were you. Great Scott. Highlights said, now that Sharp is active, who do I start and flex? You're going to start Sharp. Their highlights 2.0. You also have Judy and CD and a wide receiver 2. What do you think about that? I think that's great. Yeah, I'm starting Judy over DK Metcalf this week. So I think you have it right. And I agree that you should be flexing Zach Charbonnet over DK Metcalf. Appreciate your highlights. Great Scott said, pick one wide receiver and 2 flex, please. We will be going with AJ Moore, DJ Moore. Yeah, so we'll go with Mike Evans. We'll go with Kamara, and then it's between Breece Hall and AJ Brown. I believe I'm going with AJ Brown. Yeah. I'll go AJ Brown, Kamara, and Mike Evans. They're Great Scott. Seawolf said, drop Metcalf for Adam Thielen. I know you're in a super shallow league. It always feels dumb to do that. Because and maybe my DK Metcalf ranking's just out of whack. Especially when we look at how Adam Thielen's been balling out the last few weeks. I think it's okay if you really want to do it. Like I said, it's hard because I know DK's been just battling with this injury, but we've also kind of seen him get overtaken by, like we said, JSN's become the clear alpha. We haven't seen, really, like we said, he's only had one full, 20-point performance was week, 2, and then 3, and it just hasn't been ideal since then. Yeah, I'm cool with it, Seawolves, if you need upside. I'm cool with that if you need upside. Great Scott said, at tight end in another league, Jonnu Smith or Hawkinson. You got to keep riding the hot hand of Mr. Jonnu Smith. I do like Hawk this week for sure. But you got to go with Jonnu Smith. I mean, he's just been absolutely on fire. So continue rolling him out. Cooler Hand said, I started Jennings over Higgins. Dude, we'll play you a little sad trombone. Going into this week, where did I have Higgins? I mean, I had Higgins lower. But I had him as my wide receiver 15. I did have Jawan Jennings as my wide receiver 17. So I would have told you to start T. Higgins over Jennings, but I understand why you did that, Cooler Hand. J-Rad said, this might be a stupid question, but drop Steelers defense for Cardinals for playoffs. Steelers have a tough playoff schedule. I mean, yeah. Okay, first off, I started the Cardinals last week, J-Rad. It was not ideal. Yeah. Philly, Baltimore the next 2 weeks, and then Kansas City. Yeah, you're probably not going to feel super comfortable starting them, which they probably will have like a decent fantasy football point day there. I do think the Cardinals, like we said, the New England matchup, Carolina over the next 2 weeks. Now, their Week 17 matchup's not great, but just to get you through the next 2 weeks, I think the Cardinals definitely could. But they also let me down last week, J-Rad, so I'm not feeling so comfortable pushing them out to what people need. Great Scott said, thank you so much for doing all this. Definitely my favorite fantasy football YouTuber I found. You really connect with the community, man, and that's awesome. Let's win some. Yeah, dude. I think my favorite part about making the videos is it's like I get to answer people's questions, and I get to talk fantasy football. Like I think the big thing is I don't have enough people in my life that love fantasy as much as like all you guys love fantasy. And so the reason I started making content was to find people like you guys. So a lot of exciting stuff coming over the next, few years. We've already grown a ton like this year. I think when we started this year, I was sitting at like 2,000 subscribers and now we're, at 4,000. So we've already doubled ourselves. And so there's a lot of exciting stuff coming down the pike. And I'm just excited to continue to make the best content that I can possible and interact with you. So great, Scott. I'm so happy you found the channel this year. Element Prod said, I'm hoping for more disappointments for opponents. Element, you and me both, brother. Andrew said, I started Jennings and Kittle. Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Listen, I don't know anybody who did not get hurt by that 49ers game last night. It was brutal. Unless you like only own Puka Nacua and then you're feeling okay. But even Puka Nacua, it wasn't like a great Puka Nacua game. R. Edison says, Rico Dowdle a strong flex play going forward. 100%, dude. 100%. This week, where do I have Rico sliding in? He's a top 15 running back for me. So 100% someone that you should feel very comfortable throwing in your flex. Daniel said, yo, Flowers, Waddle, Thielen, or Marvin Harrison Jr. for flex. I heard somebody on Twitter today make a huge argument for Marvin Harrison Jr. and why he's going to pop off this week. Could not be me. So I will be telling you this is a juicy Zay Flowers matchup going up against the Giants. The issue is if they get up super big in the first half, like how much are they throwing the ball in the second? But I think I lean Zay Flowers here for you, Daniel. But it's between Zay Flowers and it's between Jalen Waddle for me. But Jalen Waddle is also kind of dealing and banged up a little bit, so I do lean with Zay Flowers. And Daniel, I don't want to let you down, but that one did not make me. You got so many freaking good options for like a wide receiver too. So I'm struggling, or for your flex, I'm struggling on this one, Daniel. But I would go with Zay Flowers. Podson says Calcaterra or Noah Gray. I lean with Calcaterra. There, have him higher up in my rankings. Have him sliding in as what my tight end 17, and then I have Noah Gray sliding in as my tight end 19. Appreciate you, Podson. Dude, listen. Okay, brother. I saw your post. Sorry, I work for so I live on the Eastern Coast, but I work for a company that is based in Kansas City, and so I work CST time, and I saw a ton of comments come in that I have not responded to. So I apologize. If you did leave a comment, I will definitely be answering that, even if I answer it here. So, bro, sorry. So sorry. But appreciate you stopping in for the stream. We got Stevenson, Hall, or Harrison Jr. Ooh, this one's a hard one. So we need to, like we said, we need to continue to monitor the Breece Hall knee injury. The update that I got today was, I'm double checking because when I saw earlier, yeah, it's really gonna make or break a lot of I just don't trust him this week. I mean, I don't think I can tell you to start Hall, but I'm gonna tell you to not start Hall and then he's gonna pop off. I know, who was it? Ian Rappaport 2 hours ago. They're optimistic that he's gonna play on Sunday. So I guess maybe we wait until tomorrow, but I think right now I lean Harrison Jr. and Stevenson. But let's wait till we see what's going to be happening with Breece Hall in this overall injury. But right now, at this moment, I lean Harrison Jr. and Stevenson. But I understand. Oh man, appreciate you. Hope Sunday goes well. Been absolutely loving your videos. Been fire, brother. Jesse says the top available kickers in my league are Tucker, Koo, Gonzalez, York, Carlson. You said no to Tucker. Would you take any of these guys over Koo? Oh my goodness, you're my kicker rankings. You're making me pull up my kicker rankings. Like, quickly, just double checking. No. Hold Koo. Hold the line. We got Tanya up here in the building. Said, help a girl out. I'm here for you, Tanya. Here. You said Andrews, Moore, Cleveland, Leggett, or Coleman. Leggett or Coleman. In your flex. Okay, so it's probably gonna be between what we got. Mark Andrews. Where we got? I think we're gonna go Elijah Moore. I'm just double checking. Yep, we're going Elijah Moore here, Tanya. It's close between Andrews and Moore, but I personally go with Elijah Moore there, Tanya. I have Elijah Moore sliding in as my wide receiver 40. Overall player 76. I have Mark Andrews. He's in he's my overall player 85 in flex rankings. Appreciate you, Tanya. Thanks for tuning into the channel. We got MVM, Me Vale Mandre, JSN London, Evans, or Dow. I can only pick one MVM? What the heck? What a loaded roster. I think we just got to go Mike Evans if you got to pick one. Got to pick two, though. I would go Mike, and then I would go Drake. You had to pick two. But if you got to go one, I would just go Mike Evans. Appreciate you, MVM. Iggy said, Ferguson or Hawkinson? Thanks, Iggy. I do have TJ Hawkinson higher in my rankings this week. So go get some TJ Hawkinson in your starting lineup. Stewie said, thank you so much for answering. You're awesome. Of course, Stewie. Of course. Thanks so much. Podson said, what's up with the Coldplay background music? Coldplay? I don't know. What was playing? Was it, I don't know what it was playing. Maybe it went to something else, but this is Elements music for the stream, so. Don't know what was occurring there. Sean said, hey, Caleb. Hey, dude. Sorry. Oh, yeah, I already answered your question, but this is a different question. We're back to kickers. Through the uprights, we're good. You said start Boswell, Reichert, or Butker if he plays. Thanks. Yeah, dude. I think we got to go with Reichert versus Chicago. Boswell's just been so good. It's hard for me not to tell you to start him. Even with bad matchups, he's been pretty good. Just Philadelphia, it's an interesting game with the defense. I think in my gut, I say just go with Boswell. Because if I were you, I'd just play Boswell. Because he's been so good. I don't care about the matchup. Go Boswell. Our edit said start Chuba or Charbonnet. I lean Chuba Hubbard this week. Still, the matchup's so juicy versus Dallas. They can't stop any running back. Because I do have Chuba R in full PPR sliding in as my RB8. I have him as my RB12, Zach Charbonnet. So I still lean with Chuba. Edison says, please don't make me watch another Eagles game. Bro, I'm not trying to make you watch another Eagles game. I just hope Jalen Hurts can freaking find and pass the ball to A.J. Brown for you. Start Pollard or Kamara. Have 2 games this week. Appreciate all the help this week. Oh, bro. Of course. That's why I'm here. Kamara versus Pollard. I mean, just because Pollard's been battling the injury, I still lean Kamara. But I know Kamara's been sick. So, like, that's also another part that we have to kind of monitor as we head into the weekend. So, both not in ideal health. But I do lean with Kamara over Pollard this week, Sean. Israel Sosa said Charbonnet over Chase Brown or Achane this week. Nope. Those two are locked and loaded top 6 running backs for me. You said other note, not trying to start Burrow, Chase, and Chase Brown. Thinking of either starting Nix over Burrow or Charbonnet over Chase Brown. Israel, I'll tell you as a guy, you're overthinking this. I understand. If the Bengals offense tanks this week versus Tennessee, you don't want all of them. I just think you're overthinking it because Joe Burrow's been absolutely lighting it up this season. So I would go Joe Burrow. I have Joe Burrow as a top 5 option this week. I have Bo Nix as my QB 10. And then I have Chase Brown, like I said, as a top 5 option. And then I have Zach Charbonnet as my top. So almost like 6 spots apart. So I would go with Chase Brown and Joe Burrow, Israel, if I were you. Joe said, are you going to be streaming after the season? Joe, that's a great question, man. So for a lot of you that tune out after the season, we do a lot in the off season. I'll probably take a few weeks off, but we then kind of move into what we call dynasty. And so dynasty is where we play fantasy football all year round, where you have a team that you have year after year after year, where you draft incoming rookies. Really awesome. We might be getting some dynasty leagues going this off season. But the main thing we'll be doing is we'll still be talking a ton of prospects. We start to stream. We'll do like mock drafts. We'll do startup drafts. It's gonna be a really great time, and especially in dynasty season, I can get a lot of guests to come on the channel. So like last year, not that this is gonna happen this year, but like last year I had like Ron Stewart, Danny from the Fantasy Stock Exchange. I had Andy Holloway on my channel. So I can get a lot more guests in the off season. So we'll see. I'm already starting to talk to some people about potentially coming on. Which will be awesome. But yeah, we still keep making content in the off season. We buy homes near you. 5112. Hey, if I ever need to sell a home, I'll come to you. You said non-PPR flex one. Here's the lineup. We got Jaden Daniels, Monty, Garendo. Sorry about Garendo. JJ, London, McBride, flex, question mark, and Ravens. Yeah, so we got Khalil Shakir, Smitty, Tony Pollard. So honestly, I would go with Tony Pollard. Would be my top option. And then I would go, where do I have Rachaad White versus, then I would go with Rachaad White if we're not looking like Tony Pollard's going to play. Because I have Rachaad White over Khalil Shakir this week there, We Buy Homes. So I would go with, like we said, I would go with Tony Pollard, assuming he's going to play. And then if not, just go with Rachaad White, We Buy Homes. Appreciate you. And then Joe said, and also, should I start Quentin Johnston if Ladd doesn't play? Joe, I don't know who my other options were in your question. Or Waddle instead of, I would do Waddle. I would do Waddle instead of Quentin Johnston there, Joe. For sure. Where we are. Sorry, let me go back into where we're at. Colin said Marvin Harrison Jr. or Jonathan Taylor in the flex. You see the jerseys behind me, Joe, so there's a little bit of hometown bias involved with this decision. I just don't think I can tell you in a right mind to start Marvin Harrison Jr. over Jonathan Taylor. The Denver defense has a strong front seven. I understand Jonathan Taylor's what I think, depending on your league format, like RB 20 somewhere, like RB 18 to RB 20 on a points per game basis. So it's not ideal matchup, but I still lean Jonathan Taylor over Marvin Harrison Jr. this week, Colin. And like I said, guys, I'm trying my best. I want to make sure that I can try to get these questions all right. I'm sure, as we all know, fantasy football, it can be up in arms. So if you guys just subscribe to me, I promise you, if I get your question wrong, it was not intentional. It was not intentional at all. I'm trying. I want you guys all to win. I want you all to win. My whole goal is to help you win a fantasy football championship. But even I lose some games and make dumb choices. So appreciate all y'all. You said yes. We Buy Homes. I would go, like I said, Tony Pollard would be first, and then Rachaad White if Tony Pollard's out. Potson said, I think it's okay if you really want to do it. What kind of advice is that, Caleb? What do you mean, Potson? What you talking about? What did I say? Who was it about? We got Kyle said flex, Chubb, Keon Coleman, Quentin Johnston, Kendra Miller, or Kyle Pitts. Kyle, I'll be going with. I'll say if there's going to be no Ladd, then Quentin Johnston's going to be the clear one for me. If there's not, assuming Ladd's going to play this week, Kyle, then I do go with Chubb. Appreciate you, Kyle. Tanya said Pollard is questionable, won't have an answer till 1 hour before the game. Yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So if you own Pollard, you're definitely going to have to wait to see what's going to be happening with him before the game. Like I said, I still like I said, right now I have him just so we're all clear as my RB 14 this week. And so even we're going to just have to monitor how that injury is going to go. I assume he's going to play this week, but like I said, maybe they hold him out this week, just depending. So I'm not an injury expert, so we'll have to see. 1 hour before game time, if you own Tony Pollard, make sure you're checking Twitter or X. White Ninja said start Tyrone Tracy, Waddle, or Shakir. Yeah, we're not going to be starting Tyrone Tracy. I pushed him down my rankings this week, so it's between Waddle and Shakir, and I lean with Shakir, White Ninja. 267 this week. That's who I'd go with if I were you. J-Rad said Higgins, Adam Thielen, and Daddle. Pick 2. I'll be going with Higgins, and then I'll be going with Daddle. I know Adam Thielen's been on an absolute heater, but I prefer Daddle. I prefer Higgins this week. Seabull said rest of season standard. You like Ridley, Meyer, Worthy, Dunze, Waddle, Pierce, Turpin, Bateman, D-Hop, Pittman, Downs, Westbrook over Metcalf or Thielen. I think you could convince me on Calvin Ridley or Jacoby Myers over Metcalf. Let me just pull up my rest of season rankings. I know I haven't released this video for you to see. You've probably been like, what the heck, Caleb? I've been releasing it all season long, and then when I need it the most, there I am without it. Yeah, I would prefer Jacoby Meyer over Metcalf. That's what I would do if I were you. See, Landon, you said half PPR. Dude, are you a singer? That's dope, dude. If you got any cool music, I'd love to check it out. Appreciate you coming by. You said half PPR, pick these 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, 1 flex. Brees Hall if he plays, Ramondre, Pacheco, Warren, Bigsby, Braylon Allen, wide receivers, Elijah Moore, Josh Downs. Okay, cool. So I get to pick 2 running backs, 1 wide receiver, and a flex. So we'll be going... Yeah, I mean, we'll go with Brees and Ramondre. And assuming if Brees does not play, then I'll just throw Pacheco into my RB spot. And then for wide receivers, I got to pick 1. I'll go with Elijah Moore. And then for a flex, assuming Brees Hall plays, I will go with Pacheco in the flex. But assuming Brees Hall does not play, then I will be going with Bigsby in the flex. So Bigsby if Brees doesn't play, if that helps you, Landon. So, yeah, let me know if I need to answer that again for you. But appreciate you. You said start Tracy or Amari Nahil. I will be going with Amari Cooper here. And do you think Amari will be wide receiver 1? I mean, based on the target share, he was, got 14 targets last week? Khalil Shakir has just been so dominant, so consistent. It's hard for me to boost him up any higher. Andrea said, need 2 Neighbors, Devontae Smith, Shakir, Quentin Johnston, PPR. I'll go with Neighbors and Shakir here, Andrea. Mervin said, full PPR, bench 1, Higgins, DJ Moore, or Evans. I'll bench DJ Moore there, Mervin. And then you said Chargers or Broncos defense. It's pretty close. It's pretty close. I lean with the Broncos defense this week, though. I have the Broncos as my number 5, and then I got the Chargers as my number 9. Like I said, defense is like the projections are always. It's so sometimes hard to project defenses, and I know I made the defensive rankings this week, but there's a reason I don't do them weekly. Joe said, or Waddle instead of Quentin Johnson. Yeah, I want Waddle instead of Quentin Johnson, Joe. I forget what your. Yeah, I would start Jalen Waddle ahead of Quentin Johnston. Love your channel, bro. Big things are ahead for you. Thanks for tuning into my channel as well. Of course. God bless you, bro. Good luck this week. J-Rad said, Kraft or Otten for tight end, pick 1. I'll go with Tucker Kraft this week. J-Rad, I've been the biggest Kate Otten supporter, believer, but Tucker Kraft's on the heater. Kate Otten hasn't. Ever since Mike Evans came back, it's hard to trust Kate Otten. I would go with Tucker Kraft. MC Bowling said, start 1, full PPR. We got Romeo, Wandell, Gus, or Isaiah Davis if Brees is out. Assuming that Brees is going to be out, I'd 100% lean with the Isaiah Davis side. But assuming that he is not, then I would just go with Romeo. Romeo, where art thou, Romeo? Jose said 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, Lamb, AJ Evans, Connor, Dowdle, Hall. Yeah, so wide receiver-wise, we'll go with Mike Evans. And then I will be going with James Conner in the flex. It's close between Connor and Evans, or Connor and CD. I will say that is a rough decision, but I go with Evans and Connor. Appreciate you, Jose. What's good, Theo? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Edison said, you're going to bring Smitty on this show. Listen, I've always been a big respect over to Smitty. His live show is so entertaining. I feel like no one else really does a live show like Smitty does. I've actually never connected with Smitty. I feel like I've made a lot of good connections in the space. But he's someone that I've never reached out to him directly. Or I haven't had friends that have introduced us or anything. So, that could definitely be someone that I bring on. So I should probably definitely message him. I feel like I grew up in the day, like the Smitty, fantasy football counselor, like that era of YouTube, like before the Ron Stewarts, the Mason Dodds, the fantasy stock exchanges kind of came into play. Like, what, that would have been like 2018 fantasy football YouTube, maybe 2017. Yeah, good time. Smitty's a legend. We got Van Sook 40 said Tracy or D-Hop in the flex. This is one where I will be going with Tracy. I know I've been bashing on him, I feel like all stream, but I would still take him over D-Hop this week. I have Tracy sliding in as my overall 58, and 68 is Mr. D-Hop in my flex rankings. Theo said, I need to get in a dynasty league with you. I need better competition. LOL. Theo, well, let us know. I don't know. I know I'm probably planning on doing 1 or 2, but the issue is that I'm starting to spend a lot of money on this hobby of mine, and so convincing the wife to continue to let me do leagues. Well, I'll let you know. Stay tuned this offseason and we'll see. Because I know Andrew over at the League FFB has talked about it too. Andrea said, I have 2 Dynasty League. One is Superflex and one is QB. Yeah, no, Andrea, that's awesome. Andrea, when did you find the channel? Because did you tune into any Dynasty content last season? Because it was really, like I said, like chopping up content, like Dynasty content with Andy Holloway was probably the highlight of my year. So if you guys haven't ever tuned that in, like I was so nervous to do that video. Because it's like I got called into the studio. I got to work with their producers. It was so dope. Not called in the studio, but like they called in on the streaming and it was awesome. But Superflex is definitely the way that you want to go. I don't think I have a bunch of 1 QB leagues because 1 QBs used to be the wave. I can't do that anymore. It's all Superflex from here on out, and helps make the position, I feel like the positional advantage less, because you can kind of attribute everything from running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends are all important. Brad McCoy, appreciate you being here. You said, should I start Charbonnet or Jonathan Taylor? Brad, I got Zach Charbonnet as a top 12 option this week. Jonathan Taylor's my RB19, so go with Zach Charbonnet. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Cameron said, week 1 of the playoffs, and I have Bucky Irvin and Kenneth Walker, forced to start Spears and Javonte Williams in my RB spots. Oh, Cameron, we're giving you a sad trombone. Isn't that unfortunate, man? Like, I'm in the same boat. Like, I'm gonna be having to go make some moves. And this is why depth is so important, but it's also, yeah, it's just an absolute beast sometimes. The injuries in the NFL. The injuries in the NFL that happen. Okay, next question. We got Sean. He said, start JSN or Garrett Wilson. I will be going with JSN. Now, I have them 2 spots apart. So, bro, I'm telling you, both of them are Ohio State. We see the Garrett Wilson jerseys behind me. Yeah, I lean the JSN side there. Playmakers 5-4 said, I have to make a decision at running back. James Cook, Taylor, Montgomery, or Charbonnet. Thanks for advance on luck. Did not just get me in the playoffs. Yeah, Playmakers. I will be Charbonnet's in, Montgomery's in, and Taylor's in. James Cook, see ya. Sit on the bench this week. Oh, or did I have to make a decision? I assumed you got to start 3. Yeah, so I rank it Charbonnet, Montgomery, Taylor, Cook. So I don't know how many you need. Joe, good to see you. You said, I started Purdy, only projected to lose by 4. Do I chase points with high ceiling Jordan Addison or go with steady but boring Drake London? 0.5 PPR plus 10-point bonus at 100 yards. Okay, Joe. So I have Drake London significantly higher than Jordan Addison. But Jordan Addison, I think it is boom bust. It's 100% boom bust. But as we've seen, week 12, 30, 9, 39, is it like a 9-point day or is it like a 30-point day for Jordan Addison? It's hard to bench a guy after a heater like that. And then Drake London has been, like we said, boring. Has been what you would say, 17, 12. I still lean Drake London here, Joe. That's who I'm going with. I have him higher up in my rankings this week, but I could 100% be wrong. But and I guess this is where I have had people over the last few days say, Caleb, you gave me a definite answer that this person was going to be a better start-sit option. And it's like, yeah, like I honestly do. Like I do these. I give you guys my opinion, but I'm wrong just as much as any of the other guys. Probably as much as you guys. Like my goal is to try to be, can I be 51% right? Can I get better than every other? And that's kind of my goal here, Joe. But I would lean with Drake London. I'd go with the boring way. Johnny, good to see you make your way over from the League FFB channel. Good to see you. I'm actually screenshotting this right now and sending over to Andrew. So just so I can say I'm stealing his subscribers. JMO or Judy rest of season. Johnny, I will be going with Jared Judy rest of season. And I know that's probably not what you want to hear. No, that's probably not what you want to hear. Get off my PF. Said, made the playoffs. Quick question. Who should I start? For my flex options are JT, McCormick, Neighbors, and Myers. Also, how it's going, 2 flexes. Yeah, I would go with Myers and JT. Get off my PF. Colonel Gable said, hey, Caleb, would you start Tracy or McCormick? This is from RB2. Now, this is a great question because it's pretty close this week. Tracy, Baltimore, lack of quarterback play, Sincere McCormick versus Atlanta. I probably still lean Tracy just because I think they'll rely on him. But like I said, like even if there's volume, is it great volume versus Sincere McCormick, and that team just feels like they're just getting demolished. Even though he got the touches, like he barely scored 10 points in full PPR. So I lean Tracy. I think there's more upside there. But I understand, McCormick probably has that 8 to 12 fantasy point floor. Got on my PFs. And also, we worried about Neighbors versus Marlin. I don't want to start someone who might lose me the week. Yes, I'm 100% worried. That's why I'm not starting Neighbors in your lineup with what you have. Jonathan, 10 PPR. So I started Jennings last night. 5.1 fantasy points. The rest of my lineup is Hurts, Jacobs, Tracy, Higgins, Adams, and Kelsey. I've got Smitty and Ridley on bench. Should I make subs or just run with it? Yeah, based on your lineup, like I wish you had I feel better about your RB2 spot. But other than that, I feel like you have your lineup exactly how I would have it set up. Sorry about Jennings. That's unfortunate because I would probably love to throw like Ridley in there right now. But yeah, I think you're in the best spot that you can to try to win this week, Jonathan. So I'm 100% there with you. Think you got your best shot. You got your best shot moving forward. Andrea said Washington or Arizona defense. Now Arizona is interesting because you got a little bit of a shelf life with them because next week you can also play them. But I personally go with Washington versus New Orleans. Having like your practice squad quarterback, probably not a good thing for the New Orleans offense. So I would go with Washington. Colin said, may have missed this, but do you have confidence in starting Bucky this week if he plays? I had confidence in Bucky last week, and then we saw that it turned into the Rachaad White show. I didn't see, was there an official update today on like what he did in practice? I'm just double checking. Yeah, he missed practice today as well. I'm probably not starting him this week, Colin. Don't have a lot of faith in him. Andrew said, no, after I have the leaks. Okay, I got you, Andrea. J-Rat said, Jay McMillan or Jalen Warren at flex. We'll go with Warren at flex. You said my flex before was J.K. Dobbins and Eckler. Man, have things changed? Oh, yeah. Now I'm with you. I would go with Warren there in your flex. Jesus said, start 3, Lamb, Higgins, Thomas Jr., Thielen, McConkey, or Shakir. I will be going with Higgins, Lamb, and then McConkey, assuming he's active. If McConkey's not active, then I go with Adam Thielen there. Jesus. Johnny says, bro, no stealing anywhere. There's plenty of love to spread. Dude, I know there's plenty of love. I just, honestly, Andrew's my best friend in the space. I talk to him almost every day. And so I'm just going to give him crap, Johnny. It's nothing personal. It's just all good and fun between me and Andrew. I'll just tell him that you said you were going to take my advice. Like, that's what I'll say, that you were going to take my advice and that his advice was off this week. Hey, appreciate you tuning in. And you said Tua or Justin Herbert. I'm down 9 points in a matchup, full PPR. Yeah, dude, I would go with Tua. Tua's been balling, going up against Houston. We like the Tampa Bay matchup for Justin Herbert, but I would go with Tua. And then you said Mike Evans or CD. I would then go with Mike Evans. Johnson, also want to thank you for your defensive video. It was excellent. Appreciate that, Jonathan. I know a lot of y'all asked for it, so I just wanted to. That might be something that we do next year. I just felt like I feel like I didn't have time week in and week out on top of doing like the research for these start sits and kind of my other videos to all the time do them. I think they might have to come into a full rotation next year because they definitely like the video started off like not great in like actually like performance and people watching it, but it ended up doing pretty well. So I can't complain. I think next year that's something that we'll have to kind of look at. adding to the repertoire. But thanks, Jonathan, for suggesting it. Jesus said, start Bills D rest of the season after this week. So after this week, we're looking at them versus New England and then the Jets. Could be good. Could be good. I think the New England matchup's probably the best for him, even though, like we said, Drake May at any time can just absolutely ball out, but their offensive line sucks. Yeah, I don't think they're bad. I don't know, Jesus, who's out there on the waiver wire for you, but let me know and I can tell you if I'd start the Bills D over them. J-Rad said, Tua or Darnold? I will be going with Sam Darnold over Tua. Have him about 3 spots apart in my rankings this week. Eileen, Sam Darnold there, J-Rad. And then Jesus said, made playoffs in all 3 of my leagues. Boom. By the way, thanks for the advice. I assume if y'all are tuning into a start-sit stream at 10:04 Eastern Standard Time on a Friday night, I assume you made the playoffs. But Jesus, it's so great to hear that you made it in all 3. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Congratulations. My brain just like stopped working there. Jonathan said, there's a second part to the compliment on your I love it. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. No, I really do. Oh, I saw that. I totally just like skipped over that. I just took the compliment and I just kept running, bro. You gave me the handoff and I said, hey, I'm just going to keep running to the end zone. And I didn't even look back to see what was back there. Jonathan, thanks for asking that. You said, I've got Braylon Allen in my thoughts on my RB2 spot. I've got Braylon Allen. If Brees doesn't go, do I start Allen over Tracy? Okay, Jonathan. Well, bro, I got absolutely burned. Absolutely burned on Braylon Allen last week. I feel like I still got to tell you to go Tracy. Because when Braylon Allen, even last week, 11 carries for 43 yards. The part that's surprising, though, is he still had the 5 targets for 4 receptions, 54% snap share, just like Isaiah Davis got like a lot more opportunities that were high priority. I think if I'm you, I'm risking it. I think the Braylon Allen will have a better shot. So I'd go Braylon Allen over Tracy if Brees is not able to go, Jonathan. I'm with you. I would do that. I don't have it in my rankings that way because I'm still assuming Brees Hall is going to play, but assuming that Brees Hall is not, I would bump up Braylon Allen and I'll roll him back out. I was wrong last week, but he still had, 13 fantasy points, so it's not bad. Chief, like I said, Chief, appreciate here, we'll give you a little bit of DJ Airhorn, the applause. Thanks for the super chat earlier. You said, thoughts on St. Brown, lack of production and red zone looks. Would you roll out Thielen and BTJ pick 2 over Amon-Ra? Dude, I can't tell you not to put, Amon-Ra, I have him as a top 2 play this week. It's been pitiful. Don't get me wrong. It's been pitiful the fact that we haven't gotten an over 20 fantasy point day since week 11. It's been, he started off the season hot as you would with Amon-Ra, but then it's just the rushing attack has been so dominant. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, you got J-Mo getting way more involved. That's hurting Sam Laporta. That's hurting Amon-Ra. But no, I'm still starting Amon-Ra this week. And then between BTJ and Adam Thielen, I think you got to roll out Brian Thomas Jr. After the last 2 weeks, 18 and 16 fantasy points, even with Mac Jones. He's had a 25% target share with Mac Jones. I'm not saying Mac Jones is a good quarterback, but they're down a lot. They have to throw the ball a ton in the second half. So give me BTJ and give me St. Brown this week in your starting lineup. And then MH1608 said start 1 full PPR, Brees, DK, Ridley, Pollard, Marvin Harrison Jr. I will be going with Pollard, assuming he's going to play MH. If Pollard cannot go, then I will be leaning on Calvin Ridley there. Would be how I go there, MH. And the good news is they're both in the same game. So you can kind of wait on the Tony Pollard news, which you will find on Sunday at about 12:08, 12:15, if he's going to play or not, from our boy Adam Schefter. But like I said, guys, this has been absolutely awesome. We've been streaming now for an hour and 10 minutes. So I'm probably about to get out of here, guys. It's been absolutely awesome being able to interact and talk through start sit decisions, because it's been an interesting week. Oh, we got Jesus sneaking in, start 2 running backs. Yeah, here, I'll say this. It's a 2-minute warning. Throw any start sit questions that you have in, and I'll get to them really quick. We'll go Cook, Tracy Jr., Charbonnet. Yeah, so we're going to be going with Charbonnet for sure. Have him as a top 12 running back here, Jesus. And then I will be going with Cook over Tracy. So Charbonnet and Cook. I understand Cook almost let you down last week, but yeah, Charbonnet and Cook will be how I'm going with Jesus. Brendan, good to see you, bro. Thanks for sneaking in here. You said my fantasy season is cooked. Went on a 5-week win streak to get first for the playoffs. Brees and GP got hurt, and Cup put up a goose egg, so now I'm down to 50 right now. We do 2-week playoff. Well, that's the good news. Good news is you got 2 weeks, but sorry that you're like cooked heading into week 1, bro. Crazy. But no, dude, hopefully you've been in the gym, pumping out the iron, having a bunch of fun. Always appreciate you supporting the channel. You've been an OG. You've been like an OG. Like back when we were at like 1,000 subscribers, Brendan. So I appreciate you finding the channel and continuing to tune in, my guy. Thanks for always supporting. But yeah, good luck this week, next week. Hopefully things start to turn around for you. But guys, appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Oh yeah. Yep. No, week 1 was last week. Oh, so you got to make up the points. Oh, I got you. Oh, so it's even more dire. It's already over. It's over. We are screwed. Like the Michael Scott phrase. Okay, bro. I'm sorry. Sorry it's that way. Andrea, of course, thanks so much for tuning in, guys. Like, I hope you guys all have a good night. Thanks for tuning into the channel. If you do have any more start sit questions, make sure you throw them on a video. We'll see if we put out a video tomorrow. I was thinking, I didn't know what I was going to record. I was going to record one for tomorrow, but I think I will. So be on the lookout for one of those videos to come out tomorrow. Appreciate all y'all for tuning in, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.